Hello, welcome to the instructions for Module 10. Module 10 will be covering the lifespan period of adolescence. As usual, you will be completing your Module 10 assignments. Remember that these assignments have their particular due dates in Canvas and that it's very important for you to try to stay up to date on those assignments. So within this particular module, you will be completing your Module 10 discussion board and peer responses. You will also be completing your usual video response as well as your quiz for Module 10. I want you to be thinking about adolescence really as this period that kind of takes us back to the earlier concepts in the course. I want you to think this way in particular because adolescence really is marked by the human's ability to release mature sex cells. When we're looking at the biological male, we're talking about mature sperm cells that are able to fertilize the female reproductive sex cell, which is the ova. Now, you can imagine all of the changes that are still continuing to go on because adolescence is considered a period of childhood. Within your OER, you can read about how we see the developing brain during adolescence shifting in terms of pruning and myelinization. Now, during adolescence, we really see this shifting of the way the brain is organizing and processing information into a more adult-like fashion. So although we don't consider adolescence adulthood, we see this as kind of the shifting phase towards adulthood. Now, our particular OER introduces this additional period of lifespan, which is emerging adulthood. So adolescence is tricky because we can't necessarily put a specific chronological age on it. So we may see, for example, somebody moving from adolescence into the responsibilities of an adult. Or we may see some adolescents really extending this period well into their 20s. In terms of relationships, this shifting of the ability to make mature sex cells influences behavior as well as social relationships. And the hormones that are required for this really are now kind of demonstrating to us this shift from a child to an individual who can sexually reproduce. Okay, so the last thing I want you to consider in adolescence is really the difference between what we consider primary and secondary sex characteristics. Oftentimes students find this a little bit counterintuitive because the primary sex characteristics actually come after the secondary, right? So when we're thinking about primary sex characteristics, I want you to think about primary to sexual reproduction. Whereas secondary sex characteristics are those characteristics that we can actually see in others and that come before primary sex characteristics. So think about primary as related to the maturing of the reproductive system and secondary as the signals to the world that the reproductive system is now becoming mature. Okay, I will see you back in the instruction video for the next module.